Red.
What does that mean?
Stop.
And look at Emma. Hands on her head. All right? So I'm going to turn this off for right now. We don't need it right now because I know you're going to be the best listener. All right. So we're going to read a book, but before we read it, we're going to talk about some stuff. Don't look at it yet. Okay. All right. So, did you ever feel, well, we all had like one time where we felt left out, right? Like sometimes maybe somebody leaves us out of something. We get, a little upset. We feel a little left out.
Why?
So, I don't know. There's some different times where you feel left out or something. So, we all felt like a time where we felt left out. So, I remember one time.
Is that a toy?
No, this isn't a toy. So, I remember one time. Look at me. I remember one time when we moved here, I had to go to a different school.
Why?
Because I couldn't go to my other school. We had to go to this one around our house now. So I felt so upset and I felt so left out. You want to know why?
Why you were upset? Because you missed all of your students?
Yeah, I missed all of my friends at my other school. And when I went to this new school, nobody was showing me around. Everybody was so mean. Nobody talked to me. Do you know how that made me feel?
Sad?
Yeah, that made me feel kind of sad. So then there was this one little girl.
Why everyone mad at you?
I don't know. I guess they didn't like the new girl. So I went over there. I went to like this little girl and she was sitting by herself just like me. And I was like, hey, do you want to be friends? And she was like, yeah, let's be friends. So she became my best friend in the whole entire world. And we did everything together. And she always came over when you were at school. She always came over and we played so many games and we were so happy. So remember when I said I was a little left out at the beginning? Everyone was so mean.
Yeah.
I was like so sad and stuff. But then what happened when I got with my friend? I became happy. So think of a time in your head. Well, this book is about a little girl. This is the main character. Her name's Shakita. And she is a new girl. And she has to go to a new school. And she's a little nervous at first. And she's a little scared. And she maybe doesn't have the most friends.
Why
and
does
then,
she have a pet?
And then in the end, we'll get to that later. And then in the end, she ends up having a really good friend. And she feels a little more happier and better. And she feels a little more at home. So, before we read this book about Shakita, we're going to think of a time where you felt left out. Okay, so think in your head, close your eyes. Think about, and visualize in your head. Think about, if you already have it, you can just wait 1 second while everybody else thinks. So close your eyes and visualize in your head about a time where you maybe felt a little left out. So you're going to take a few seconds just to think about that time. And then you're going to have 1 minute to talk with your partner. So, Olivia and Emma, you're going to be partners, and then I'll be partners with Mariah. And we'll all talk together. All right? So now that you have your thought in your head, talk with your partner. So Emma, go with Olivia. Mariah. We're going to see about how maybe your own connection feels the same as Shakita's, or if it feels different. So we're going to see. So now we're going to go over some vocabulary words. So there's some words in here that I think that maybe you might have a little bit of trouble reading or understanding when I read it. So we're going to first go over this one. And this is iguana. So an iguana is a large lizard.
Large lizard.
Yeah.
I saw that in
we're not
school.
This is a little iguana right here. He's a little tinier than what they usually are. They can go up to 6 feet, but this is what an iguana. So we're going to, Shakita right here, we're going to see that she has an iguana, and her and Mia really like to talk about the iguana. And then the other word is sniffle or sniffles. So, you don't know what that is? So sniffle is like when you're like, so it's like an action that a character does. Olivia. So it's like an action that a character does. Maybe when they cry or when they feel sad, when they're like, see what I'm doing with my nose like this. That means that they're sniffling or she sniffles or sniffle. Okay, so now that we have I'm going to put our vocabulary words right here so we can see them, hopefully. Can you see them?
Yeah.
All right. So this book is a fiction book. So there's nonfiction and there's different kinds of other genres, but this one's a fiction book, and this means that this story's made up. So it's not real, but this book, since it could happen in real life, it's realistic fiction. So that means it could happen, but this story was made up. So we're going to be awesome detectives. Yeah?
What, like, someone did it, but it's actually real.
Yeah, so real books or like real stories that are based on real events, those are nonfiction books. But this is a fiction book, so this means that this story is made up. So we're going to be awesome detectives, and we're going to make sure that we keep track of everything that we're reading and everything's in the right order, because we're awesome readers, right?
Yeah.
Mariah, are you an awesome reader? Soon you'll be. All right, so now that we talked about everything so far, we can finally talk about the title and the cover.
I already know about that title and the cover.
So, I know because you're the best reader. You probably already read it over here. So, the title is The New Girl, and then this book is a little silly, but the title goes all the way into the back. And don't mind like these little tiny notes. These are my teacher tools. So, this book goes all the way to the back. So, it says, The New Girl, ... and me. So who's this girl, do we think? Like I'm thinking, like when I look at this title, The New Girl and Me, and then I look at the characters and the illustrations on the front and the back, because this is a silly book, it has the front and the back. I'm thinking, what is this about? I'm wondering, like, I wonder who this girl is. I wonder who this is. What is this? I wonder who this girl is. So I'm really wondering a lot of things, right? So, ready? 5, 4, go back on your seat. 3, 2, 1. All right. So now that we read everything, we know our vocab words. What are our vocab words? Iguana, a large lizard, sniffle, sniffling when I'm crying. All right, so now we're going to start reading. We're going to be awesome readers. Just touch that lip, thanks. All right, so The New Girl and Me. Story by Jackie Robbins and illustrations or art by Matt Fellon. All right, Mariah, I'm getting ready to start reading the book, so I need you guys to be really good listeners. Right? All right, so The New Girl and Me. The first day, the new girl comes to our class. The other girls shout, "I'll show her around." Oh, I already see our first vocab word, iguana. Remember what that means? A large lizard. Let me take my teacher tool. So a large lizard, right?
Yeah.
So when Miss Becky asks the new girl to tell us her name, the new girl says, "I have an iguana." Miss Becky says the new girl's name is Chiquita, and we should make her feel at home. So as a good reader, I want you to make sure that I know what is happening in the story already. So who the main characters are. So far, we already see a few characters in here, and you know where the story is. Like, what's the setting of the story? So, just by reading the first few pages, we're only on page 3. What do we know? Mariah, just, Mariah, sit up. Thank you. All right, gotta be a great listener, okay? So we're only on page 3, right? So we're gonna read this section right here, and then I want you to turn with your partner and think of who the main characters are so far, where the setting in the book takes place, okay? So we're going to read this over really quick. The first day the new girl comes to our class, the other girls all shout, "I'll show her around." When Miss Becky asks the new girl to tell us her name, the new girl says, "I have an iguana." Miss Becky says the new girl's name is Chiquita, and we should make her feel at home. So go ahead, get with your partner really quick, and just go over what the setting is and who the main characters are already. So who do we know already in the air?
The setting is at school.
All right, just a few more seconds, 10 more seconds. All right, so what do we know? We know that her name is, our main character is this little girl, Chiquita. And what's the setting? School. So we know her name's Chiquita, and the setting is at school. So Chiquita's a new girl at school. I asked Miss Becky, how can someone feel at home when she's at school? Miss Becky says, well, Mia, that's something that we say. It means to make her feel just like she does when she's at her own house. What does that mean? So I want you to close your eyes. So Miss Becky explains what it feels like to be at home. What do you think that means? What do you think it feels like? Olivia, can you just touch that really quick? So what do you think that means? What do you think that feels like? So when you're at home, what do you feel? When you're laying in bed, do you feel cozy? Like, we've been home the past few weeks, so how have you been feeling? Good, cozy. Think in your head. So when you're laying in bed, when you're with your family, right? So we're visualizing in our head what we feel when we're at home. So it makes you feel like we're at home. Olivia, please stop. Mariah, stop. Sit on crisscross applesauce just like Emma. Cross your legs. Okay, thank you. Good job. You need to be a really good listener for this, so we can understand everything and how Chiquita's feeling. Right, so we're visualizing in our head. So what does it mean to feel at home? So you're thinking in your head, you're laying in bed, you feel a little cozy, you're with your mom, you're cooking, you feel so happy and cozy, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep reading. So Miss Becky says, well, I already read that. I wonder what Chiquita feels like when she's at her house with her iguana. I do not think she feels that way now, unless her house is like school, and she has 18 girls there who all want to show her around, and one boy named DJ who calls her Chiquita Mosquita, until she says, "I'll punch you in the head." Goodness. I think it might be fun to show Chiquita around. I want to know about Chiquita and her iguana. But I do not want to get punched in the head. I think that's very nice. I asked Miss Becky, what's an iguana? Miss Becky says, well, Mia, let's look it up. She writes iguana on a card, and she gives me a book called 100 Animals. We already know what an iguana is, right?
Yeah. It's a big lizard.
Yep, that's a vocab word. I find a page that says iguana. It has pictures of lizards. Some of them look like dinosaurs. The words read, iguanas have sharp teeth and claws.
Wow.
They can grow up to 6 feet long. I am not sure I want to meet Chiquita's iguana. What do you think she feels? She feels probably scared of that iguana. The second day Chiquita comes to our class, the other kids all decide to play soccer with DJ. DJ says that they have an even number and Chiquita can't play.
Why?
DJ never lets me play soccer either. I kick the ball wrong, and the other team scores. Chiquita tells DJ she isn't his friend. DJ tells Chiquita that she looks like an iguana. When DJ says that, the whole class laughs, and they all go and play soccer. Chiquita stays here with me. Here goes Mia over here. So, as good readers, we already know in our head what might happen. So, I have to make sure that I'm ready for the change, right? I look at Chiquita. I think she does not feel like she does at home. Unless her house has 28 boys and girls who laugh at her and one who doesn't talk to her. Even when Chiquita's so sad that she sniffles and wipes her nose. Oh, there goes our vocab word, sniffles. So she's doing this. She's crying. She's a little sad. Why do we think she's sad? Didn't we already talk about before we started reading about a time that we felt left out with our partners? So we already thought that. So that's going to really help us think about how Chiquita's feeling. Like, how did you feel when that happened to you, when you felt left out?
Sad.
Yeah, so maybe that's the same way that Chiquita's feeling. So that'll really help you understand how she's feeling. Maybe now Chiquita would like for me to show her around. Maybe she will punch me in the head. I do not know what to say to Chiquita. How's your iguana? I ask. Fine, Chiquita says. She plays with her shoelace. I could untie your shoes 2 times so they don't untie. I try. It's called a double knot, Chiquita says. I know, I say. What are you doing here? Chiquita ties her shoelaces herself. She's still sniffling. What's an iguana anyway, I ask. It's a green lizard. Oh, you know, your iguana can grow up to 6 feet long. It's still a baby. Oh, what's your iguana's name? Igabel. I can't help it. I laugh at Chiquita's iguana's silly name. Now she will punch me in the head. So now we have Mia asking her a bunch of questions, right? So she seems really interested in her iguana. Remember the time where you felt left out? Who helped you? When you felt left out, did someone help you? Did someone make you feel better and comfort you like Mia did? Turn with your partner and talk about who helped you. Who came and comforted you. So you're going to take 1 minute or 30 seconds. Let's take this really quick. You can take 30 seconds. Okay, you can tell Olivia. So just take 30 seconds. We don't even need our timer because I know you're really, really quick.
My 2 doggies.
Oh, your 2 dogs. So when you felt left out, your 2 dogs helped you? How did they help you?
They came and let me pet them.
Cool. So how did that make you feel at first when you felt left out? How did you feel? Sad. And then what happened when they comforted you? Happy. So maybe that's how Chiquita and Mia feel right now, right? So instead, she laughs too. So she didn't punch her in the head. You could hold her if you want. If you come over to my house, Chiquita says. You could feed her. She likes lettuce. I like lettuce, I say. And Chiquita laughs again. I show Chiquita the 100 Animals book. She shows me which pictures like her iguana. It looks small enough to hold for now. I tell Chiquita I thought her iguana might look like a dinosaur too. Chiquita says, "Oh, Mia," then she laughs. So right now we're predicting what is happening next, right?
Yeah.
So we are going to go through our book. So think of what you're predicting next is going to happen in the book. We're going to go through the book really quickly, just looking at our illustrations, and we're going to think of what's happening next. So first we have Chiquita. She comes to class. Emma, sit up. Crisscross applesauce. And Mariah. Hey, you need to be a good listener. All right, go ahead. You can sit right there. Just let her go, Olivia. Let her do it herself. Go ahead, Mariah.
I want to see that flag.
All right, now you have to stay up there, okay? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me.
1, 2. I said you.
All right. So first we have Chiquita. She's coming to class, right? Everybody wants to be with her. And then Chiquita, she looks like she's alone right now. She's kind of nervous. Then we have Mia. She's a little curious one. She wants to ask about how Chiquita's doing, about her iguana. And then we have little DJ over here being so mean to Chiquita, and Chiquita's getting so angry and sad. What's Mia over here doing? She's wondering how she's going to be Chiquita's friend because she's kind of interested in her and her iguana. So she looks up, some books about the iguanas. DJ's mean again. And they go to play soccer. Oh, then right here is where everything starts changing. Chiquita Mia and Chiquita finally start talking, right? Then we're still talking. Huh?
What was reading?
And then she's giggling and they're talking. And then they're right here still talking. They're so close. They look happier, right? And right here everybody's playing and they're talking. Everyone's happy. And now we're right back to where we are. So think in your head what's going to happen next, right? So they're all happy. I look at Chiquita. I think that if at Chiquita's own house, she likes people who like iguanas and lettuce. And who like to make her laugh, then even here at school. Chiquita might feel right at home. So as good readers, how you had your thought of what happened in your head next. If it didn't match what the author's story was, then as a good reader, you need to change that in your head to fit this author's story, right? So now that we read our book, I think that was such a sweet book, right? We connected with it so good. So you're going to picture in your head everything that happened. We just went through the whole book about what happened. And we're going to do a little activity. I'm going to give you a graphic organizer. So in your head, you're going to think about what happened, how Chiquita felt, or Mia, in the beginning of the story, how Chiquita felt, maybe in the middle of the story, how Chiquita or Mia felt, and then finally at the end of the story, how Chiquita or Mia felt, right? So I'm going to give you these graphic organizers. Can you hit that, Olivia? Okay, so I'm going to leave this up here. So I'm going to read it. You can follow along with your finger, okay? So right here, we're going to start right here. So it says, let's make our own connections. In The New Girl and Me, which is our story, Chiquita felt alone and Mia helped her make her feel at home. Visualize about a time you helped a friend or a classmate like Mia did in our story. So that means think in your head. So visualize in your head about a time that maybe you helped a friend or a classmate just like Mia did. Because didn't Mia help Chiquita? She made her feel so much happier because she was talking to her, she was being her friend. And if you can't remember, then you can go back and think about a time where you felt alone like Chiquita did. So then we're going to draw right here. You're going to draw or illustrate what happened. And then once you are finished drawing what happened, how did you feel in the end? Did you feel happy like Chiquita and Mia? If not, how else did you feel? And then you're going to write how you felt and why. Okay? So here's some pencils. There you go. And then here, since you're going to draw first, you can use some markers if you want. Okay? So I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Alright? You got a little more time. Actually, I'm going to give you, 5 minutes. Alright? So you can do it yourself because this is what you think about everything and your own experiences and connections. So I didn't get to go over the graphic organizer in the video with the kids, but I do have an example of one of my sisters or students work in here. So right here she said, well, they were supposed to visualize a time that they helped a friend or classmate like Mia did in our story. She picked the first option where she could talk about a friend or a classmate that she helped, and she helped a little girl in her class. She became friends with her, and it made them both happy because they ended up being friends. And after her illustration says, how did you feel in the end? Were you happy like Mia and Chiquita, or did you feel differently? And she just explained that she felt happy because they ended up being friends.